It's 7:40 on a Sunday. Let's do this. Good evening, Hampton Roads. Good evening, Northeast North Carolina. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of WTKR News 3 Television. And you're watching a special edition, a special Sunday edition of First Warning Live, where we talk all things weather. And this is a great opportunity to do it because we have a big change in the weather pattern that's less than 27 hours away. I said 27 on purpose because that's when I think the snow opportunity will be coming into play. Snow opportunity? I didn't know there was such a thing. Hang with me. But say goodbye to the 70s. That's where we were for the last 3 days. Say hello to the 60s, 50s, 40s, 30s, and with wind chills dropping into the 20s. That's not hyperbole, my friend. That's not an exaggeration. I've been talking about this snow opportunity since election night. You did it on election night? How do I know? Just go to Facebook. I've got all these streams still on our Facebook page. They're there for like 30 days. But you could go to my YouTube page. You go all back. But I do want to show you this cold air is coming. Now, it wasn't that cold this morning. Let's be real. 60 degrees, the low this morning in Norfolk. Yeah, that happened at 4:44 a.m. And many of us started the day in the upper 50s in inland Virginia and inland North Carolina. But we managed to hit 76. 76 degrees at 2:18 this afternoon. That's why I'm saying it's time to say goodbye to the 70s. And I know what some of you are thinking. I know you're like, I didn't know we got that warm. This is the warmest day since the 8th of October. This is the warmest day in a month. Bye. Bye. Some of you were like, I shouldn't have to deal with 70s in November. Not anymore. I said back even a week before Election Day, I said, hey, we've got a front-end loaded winter. We're going to start early. Some people said, I'll believe it when I see it. So now we're about 7 degrees off from the record high. 76 was the high today. 76 was the high on the 8th of October. But I get ahead of myself. We have now about a split even. We have 5 below normals and 4 above. But we're going back to below normal for a while. Now, our temperature right now at 7:41 is 68. It's 69 in Hampton. You're going to see a rapid acceleration of a drop in temperature after 11 o'clock tonight. Meaning we may cool, obviously, between now and 11, but it's only going to be someone's going to put the pedal to the metal. We're going to start to cool back into the 40s as we head toward tomorrow morning. Right now it's about 67 in Franklin, but Franklin is, to be fair, +9. That means 24 hours ago, we're warmer now in Franklin by almost 10 degrees, 14 plus in Wakefield. So it's clear that we're a lot warmer now than we were this time last night. And yesterday we had a 70-degree high. Today was 76. Tonight's lows, though, this is where we're going. It should be about 47 in Suffolk. Elizabeth City should nudge 50. As could and should Virginia Beach, about 52 in Duck, about 45 in Ahoskie. And by tomorrow morning, if you wake up in Smithfield, it's 48, 48 Newport News, 44 in Matthews. Don't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't want you to be surprised. So let's talk about the headlines. Let's talk about this. Is a live look at the ocean front, Virginia Beach. Sharply colder this week. Say goodbye to highs in the 70s. I've kind of established that. Winter chill returns. Temperatures will struggle on Veterans Day to reach 50. I don't even think that's in the offering. But the freeze warning, I'm talking the hard freeze, Veterans Day morning is knocking on the door. Do you need more proof? Maybe you need a different source. How about if I give you the National Weather Service? I put it in quotation marks. Temperatures as low, this is their verbiage, not mine, as low as 27 and lower 30s near the beaches. Now, some of you are like, well, that's not happening tonight. No, that's tomorrow night. It's very clearly marked up here that starts at 10 o'clock Monday night and lasts until 9 a.m. on Veterans Day morning. How many of you are watching this live? If you are, I'd love to say hi to you. Have opportunities to put your voice on the screen. This would be a great chance for you to sound off. If you got questions about snow, I'll do my best to answer it. You might be thinking, I don't know about snow. This guy's new. He's only been here 9 months. And from what I gather, he wasn't even here on February 19th. That's true. I got here 2 days after February 19th. I did see the mounds of snow. I saw the mounds of snow in the Walmart parking lot. They were big. Yeah, I remember. It was pretty noticeable. But if you're on this call, now would be the time to say hello. Let's see here. Luke is saying hello. I guess Luke is shouting his own name out. I'm going to shout out to Luke. If Luke's watching, Luke Alvarez, good to see you. Yeah, I got here on the 21st of February. which is 2 days after the big snow, 10, 11 inches of snow. And so some people, just from talking, either in the halls of the building or out and about, people will tell me, I got PTSD from that snowstorm because I don't like snow. I live by the beach. I live here for a reason. If that's you, this is not that event. This is not even an accumulating snow. This is a melting snow, and I'm going to explain more on what that means. So hopefully this will settle any fears or confusion that might be lingering. But let's see here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the map again. This covers virtually everybody. I'm looking at Dare County. You might be excluded, but you're still going to be cold. You'll still be in the lower 30s in places like Manio, Roanoke Island, and Wanchese. But Virginia Beach, Exmoor, Eastern Shore, Williamsburg, James City County, everybody's going to have some really cold air in the days to come. Now, I have a 40% chance of showers and storms tonight, and most of this line from Farmsville, I believe it's up to Richmond. Is it Richmond? Yeah, it's over Richmond right now. Richmond's getting pounded with some thunderstorms, not severe, but a lot of that energy is headed toward Lexington Park. If you're not sure where that is over here, a lot of this energy is moving this way. But there's going to be likely another line that forms somewhere around 2 or 3 or 4 in the morning. So I think we're going to get some showers in Norfolk, Virginia Beach tonight, but it may not be directly from this line you see here, as it is stretching across a good part of northern Virginia and across other parts of the Commonwealth. There's the front, and it's going to slide through, and when it does, it could initiate a few more showers. But make no mistake about it, it has been snowing today in Ohio. It has been snowing today in Indiana. And they're expecting, in my old stomping ground of East Tennessee, expecting up to about a foot in places like the Smoky Mountains. The Great Smoky Mountains, they could be fair. They could get 4 to 8 inches, and some places maybe like Newfound Gap, but a Mount LeConte or a Kuohi, which is formerly known as Clingman's Dome, they could get a foot of snow. I wouldn't be surprised by that at all. And I would say mountains of West Virginia could also match that. Maybe they get 12 to 18. So if they're getting all that kind of snow, the question is, what exactly are we going to get? I think we're going to get a little bit of something, but not a whole lot to talk about. And it's still going to come in that time frame when many of us are going to be asleep or perhaps checked out for the rest of the night. Meaning like you're settled in your home and you're not really going out. So I'm going to talk about that snowflake window that I have here in just a mere moment, so hang with me. As far as where we've been, it's very clear. It should be very clear by now. This has been like a roller coaster, but it's been steady for the last couple of days. Then it spiked to 76 today, and then it's going to crash down tomorrow. So let me put some numbers, some teeth behind this graphic. Yeah, we were at 70 yesterday, 70 on Friday, 76 today, but we'll be lucky with a daytime high of 55. But I still think, and I'll say this, I think we're going to have low 60s for the almanac, meaning it's an upside down day because of the passage of this cold front. Our high temperature or maximum temperature for the 24-hour period known as tomorrow will be in the low 60s just after midnight. That'll be our recorded high. But the daytime, how you should dress, how you should prepare for your kids and how they should dress for the lower to mid 50s tomorrow. That's a 21-degree drop. 21-degree drop from today, and that will be a little bit of a shock to the system. Throw in some gusty winds, we're going to get to the wind chills in the 20s. That comes on Veterans Day morning for those of you that might be standing still at a parade, and I wanted to have that information for you. But Tuesday, we're lucky to crack 47. 47, then bounce up to 60. By the way, this 60 you see on Wednesday, that was this morning's low. This is the high. Oh my goodness, I feel like I'm on Tempesto. I feel like I'm riding the Griffin. I'm riding the Apollo's Chariot, Busch Gardens. Maybe some of you know exactly what that's like. I know I do because I took my family there a couple of weeks back. So anyway, roller coaster city, that's where we are. And notice this cold air, this upper air pattern, it doesn't lie. It's been advertised, well advertised on this live stream because we call ourselves First Warning for a reason, because we want to be the first one. So you know this doesn't surprise you. It can surprise you, but I'm here so weather doesn't surprise you. Does that make sense? I'm doing my best. Work with me. Got a comment? Leave me a comment. I'll do my best. But this cold air is going to make it feel all the way down to Florida, where they're going to have some frozen orange juice in just a few short days. Oh, there's that snowflake window you were talking about. Yeah, I know. This is a very provocative graphic, especially if you don't like winter. And when you're at Virginia Beach, you're in the Outer Banks, you probably don't want to see it. I don't have much expectation for flakes in North Carolina. It's not to say it couldn't happen. but I think most of it's going to be in the 757. Does that help? This is scattered flurries. That's the whole, scattered snow showers. So here's my window. When should we expect this? When can I pull the trigger and say, he blew it? Well, if you don't have any snow showers or there's no reports of any snow showers by 6 a.m. Veterans Day, then you can say, you blew it, Aldrich. But I don't think I'm going to blow it. I've been talking about this since election night. That's true. Those who watch the live stream, you know that to be true. 10 p.m. Monday, 5 a.m. Veterans Day. That's 7 hours. That's what you get. You get a window that you or someone you know is going to be talking about Facebook. Oh my goodness, it's snowing. What time is it? 12:30 in the morning. That fits the window. Oh my goodness, it's snowing. It's 3 a.m. Still fits the window. Wet snow possible mixing with rain. That's why I don't have much hope that it'll stick. Should I pull out the sled? No. Do I need the snow thrower, the snow blower? No. You don't need any of that. No, if at the worst case scenario, you might have about 0.25 to 0.50 fall. But it's going to mix with rain. Don't expect you're going to get a quarter to half inch, but it could fall aggressively so that people look at this video. And then you call them up the next hour and say, well, how much do you have now? Well, nothing now, but when it came down, it was aggressive. It was serious. That's what I suspect will be the reaction of those who don't pay attention to the forecast, right? This is the window. It'll start around 10 a.m., come down from Williamsburg, possibly slide right into Norfolk at 2 or 3 in the morning, and then it's out, right? That's my expectation. I'm less than 36 hours away. In fact, I'm 27 hours away from 10 p.m. tomorrow night. I'm about 27 hours from snow showers, flurries, somewhere in our designated market area. Now, come Veterans Day morning, 6 a.m. doesn't fit the window, does it? So I just have partly cloudy skies. It will end abruptly. I don't have any precipitation, but 33 will feel like it's the lower 20s because of the wind chill. So another password to this equation, are you ready for this? Is blustery. Yes, that's what you're going to describe Veterans. It was blustery. I had to stand out in the cold, in the lower 20s, and I had a sweater, I had long johns, I had all the layers, right? That's how people will react. And even at 11 a.m., because it is the 11th hour, the 11th day, the 11th month, Armistice Day initially, but 42 with a 15 to 25. You're still in the 20s and 30s for wind chills when these parades start. So my concern is this. If you're not paying attention, now's the time to tell your neighborhood there's some serious cold weather coming our way. If you don't have firewood, maybe you do that. Maybe if you don't have a working heater in your house, apartment, what have you, might be a good time to get that worked out real fast. But you have probably one more day, because this is the coldest day. We'll be lucky to crack 47 for a high temperature on Veterans Day. Morning lows go down to 33, even though it's going to feel like it's 22. Let me repeat that. 22 is going to be the feels like when the temperature's closer to 33. 36 on Wednesday's no picnic, but it will get a little bit milder, maybe near normal, maybe slightly below by the time we hit Thursday and Friday. So let me start the wind chill forecast. Again, this is just a perception, and this is a great time if you're on the call to say hi. I got a nice note from our friend Wendy Smith. Hi, Wendy. Great to see you. See, she's figured it out too. You get a good close-up, and whatever picture that you supply Facebook will appear in the lower right of the screen. So Wendy, thank you for being here. She wants it to snow. I got some snowbirds on here. If you're on Team Snow, there's no shame in that. Raise your hand. Let me know. If you're on Team Spring, you don't like it. Maybe you love today. When it was 76 today, you have reasons to have rejoiced, right? If you got outside, I did, you get some free vitamin D walking around the neighborhood, getting your steps in, walking the dog. But those days are now fleeting, at least in the short term, because of the cold air that I've been advertising for some time. Let's see here. I got a note from David Marshall. He says, awesome job, sir. We want some snow. My pleasure. And for those of you who don't know, I worked 4 years, and I love them. My oldest daughter was born in Rochester, New York. Do you know how much snow Rochester gets? 100 inches a year on average. But when I was there, I was not blessed with 100 inches. No. I got 130, I got 125, I got 115. I never got 100. So when my wife says, and she's from Texas, she said, I thought the average was 100. I said, honey, sometimes it's above average. She said, oh. So we eventually moved away, but I had a chance to go to Philly by that point, my hometown. But there are things that you learn when you go to different shops, right? You go to different markets, you kind of pull and glean. As iron sharpens iron, I've had a chance to learn from the best, in my view, and I'd put that to good use when you have these types of events. But this event, It's hardly an issue. It's still, think of this, right? And if you sleep through it, I told you 2 days, 2 live streams, I said it's like the tree that falls in the forest. The tree fell, but you didn't see it, I didn't see it, we were asleep, so it probably didn't happen. But it really did happen, right? You're going to get the snow that falls, but if you're in sleep and it doesn't affect you, does it really matter? Probably not. So that's why probably some stations, some vendors, some weather outlets won't really cover it that much. Certainly wouldn't put a snowflake on their 7-day, but I did. I did a week ago. I did it back on election day. I mean, this is, and I kept voicing, I said, hey, it's still possible. The data is going to pull back, but it came back on strong. So I think we're going to get a little bit of mix, wet snow, pre-dawn, melting snow is how I would describe it. Let me get to this wind chill forecast because this is very important because of the layers that we're going to have to wear. I start the clock, not tonight. I'm starting it at 5 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, and the sun's already down. Now, the sun goes down now at 4:59. So sadly, now the sun sets 1 minute before 5. Isn't that sobering? I think it is. All right, you go into 11 o'clock tomorrow night. It's already feeling like it's below freezing. This is going to be an abrupt change that some people are saying, I remember it was 76 just on Sunday afternoon, but now what's happened? That's how some people are going to bellyache because let's face it, we all complain about the weather. I'm just the messenger. 26 at what time is this now? 5 a.m. Oh, but I'm asleep at 5 a.m. Thank goodness that's 26 at 5 a.m. because I'm out the door, fill in the blank. I'm out the door, let's say, I'm at the door at, say, 7. Oh, well, that's worse. It feels like 22. Feels like 23 in the Albemarle. Feels like 30 Outer Banks. So I'm only presenting to you the evidence that this is the real deal in terms of the Arctic cold. This is what I anticipated would be the front-end loaded style winter, where we could get these little surges of cold air in November, December, maybe the first 2 weeks of January, and then maybe a bit of a pullback as we go into the rest of winter. That's not hard and fast, but that's my expectation this early out. Because I'm only confined to 7 days, but I'll give you months of what I expect and paint with a broader brush. But this is just a few days away, right? This isn't tomorrow morning at 7. This is Tuesday morning at 7 when many people are getting ready for a parade. And this is why I'm so concerned that kids aren't going to be prepared. Moms are going like, I'm working this or I have this going on. I'm distracted. I didn't know they needed the heaviest coat they've got. I don't know what that is. If your heaviest coat is just like a windbreaker, you're probably going to want some layers to this jacket. Maybe some long johns. I don't know what they call them now, but layers. Think layers. That's what I would suggest to everybody watching, because if you're out the door at 7 a.m. on Veterans Day, whether you're going to a parade or not, it's going to be blustery. And I can't emphasize that enough. Now, this is the time when many parades, in my experience, take place around 11 a.m., right? Veterans Day. It's still in the 20s as far as the feels like, because it's all about perception. You know and I know probably I'm even more familiar with the heat index, which is also synonymous with the feels like. Feels like, heat index, same thing. It's perception driven. Wind chill's no different. Somebody asked me in Rochester, they were thinking they would get me off my game. They said, hey, I got a trivia question for you, Aldrich. They said if it's 36 actual and the wind chill is 32, will water freeze? I said no, because water doesn't have feelings. And he liked me. He said, I'll watch you now. So these are the types of things that you just have to know, even though it feels like 28, it's not actually 28. It's just that if you're in the wind, that can also have a factor. So maybe if you get shelter from the wind, get inside, you do your best to stay warm. But we will get back up, I think, to 47 Tuesday afternoon, but the feels like will barely scratch 40. That's what's sobering. That's what's probably going to be the biggest eye-opener for many people who aren't used to this type of weather, certainly not in the first 11 days of November. I got a note from Patricia. I want to say hi to Patricia. I love the interaction here. Hello from Virginia Beach. I'm going to underline her note. Patricia says, she says, hello from Virginia Beach, Virginia. Glad to have you here. I had a note last week, as some of you know. They said, hello from Oklahoma City. I didn't know people watch from Oklahoma City, but maybe they have family here. I'm not here to prejudge why they'd be watching from the middle of the country, but I'm glad they're here. If I can provide some information that's helpful for you, near or far, I'll do my best. I see Marilyn Bell. Marilyn Bell understands this idea. Now, Marilyn Bell, I'm going to come back here and say this. She says, I will take I will take snow here in East Tennessee. Yeah, you'll probably get a half inch or less, and I think that's generous for Knoxville. But when you go up to places like Pigeon Forge, Dollywood, you go up to Gatlinburg, you go up to higher elevations, they're going to pick up 3, 6, 8, maybe even a foot of snow for Mount LeConte and other locations near there like Kuwohi and Newfound Gap will certainly have some good snow. So it really is an elevation game when you're in East Tennessee. Here, we're just kind of getting a little bit of an interaction perhaps with this front and maybe a little bit of disturbance off. It's all about being in phase. You ever see two kids on the playground and they're on the swing set where you get the cold air here and then you get the moisture, but they kind of miss each other? But if they're together, it's a beautiful thing. And if you're a snow lover, I sensed that on February 19th, everything came into alignment. You got 10, 11 inches of snow here on February 19th because the cold air was there when the moisture came, right? We're just going to get maybe about 7 hours, that's my snowflake window, 10 p.m. on Monday night through 5 a.m. Western State. And then that's it. If you don't get any snow then, you probably won't have much in North Carolina. But I will illustrate this with the futurecast. I haven't even gotten to that part, but I got to keep moving. It's now 8 o'clock. I have a lot to cover. Right now you can see that we have a live look at Virginia Beach, Chesapeake Bayview, Kill Devil Hills, Williamsburg, Colonial Williamsburg, and the Oregon Inlet. Really, it's just, again, still maybe a few extra clouds because we have some rain in the central part of Virginia right now. 68 temperature forecast. This is what, tonight at 8, so we're going to cool things down, but you want to know how rapidly. Let's stop it at 11 o'clock tonight. See what I mean? But until 11, we won't accelerate. But 11 o'clock, we're still in the 60s with the exception of the eastern shore. Watch how quickly by tomorrow morning, now it's down to about 41 around Bertie. It's about 43 around Franklin, and it's about 49 around Williamsburg. So by tomorrow morning, the temperature forecast will accelerate and will go downward and just really have a hard time recovering. Because this is noontime, it's back to 46 south side, and then it goes to what, 50. Like I said, the highest temperature most likely is going to occur right after midnight tonight. Here's my planner, and again, this might be pie in the sky to think that we could bounce back to 55, because once the front comes through, we might not move at all. But I want to just emphasize early rain will exit, and the sun sets now 1 minute before 5 o'clock. So 53 at noon, 55 at 4. You're looking at a partly cloudy day, really not all that bad. For tomorrow, in terms of temperature, if you're used to it, but it's just going to be more blustery with that wind on Tuesday. Now, as far as our friends in the military, if you have family near and far, clearly there's not a lot going on out west, maybe a few showers in far northwestern sections of the Pacific Northwest, but we come back to where the real weather's happening. It's snowing pretty good in the Great Lakes. Probably a few flakes around Chicago, at least north and east. Detroit, north and east, some snowflakes occurring right now, and some of that mixing going on in northern parts of the state of New York. But it's mainly rain right now around D.C. Some thunderstorms there. We mentioned Richmond a moment ago. But we got two distinct lines. If you can see, one is over here, and then one's off the coast. So we're kind of in this dry slot right now. Until that passes, I think we'll have an opportunity for some rain a little bit after midnight. In some cases, maybe it starts sooner, depending on how much this begins to blow up, or if it just continues to ride in the direction of the nation's capital. Our rain chances should be, actually, that's an old graphic. My mistake. We'll go back to our enhanced satellite picture. This is, in fact, what's going on in the Atlantic, which is really nothing. And so we know that the hurricane season ends on November 30th. There's really not a whole lot to cover here. There's nothing the Hurricane Center is watching right now, but we do have some storms out in the middle of the Atlantic. And kind of like to show the timeline just from the perspective that you usually see that peak around, say, the early days of September. About September 10th is represented at the top of that yellow graph here. But by, say, middle of November, things typically quiet down, and it has, and shows signs of doing that as we round out the season. We did pick up 1/1700th of an inch of rain this morning. A lot of that was before the sun came up. So if you're keeping track here, we're at 0.96. 3 inches is what we typically see. November represents, in fact, the second driest month on average. These are 30-year averages. That's what we call normal. Normal and a 30-year average is the same thing. February is typically the driest month, even though you had a big snowstorm. November is usually the second driest, on average, with just a little more than 3 inches of rain. Dew point temperatures. Can you tell where winter is? I can. When you got dew points in the 20s, That looks like winter, harsh winter, and where it's in the 30s, it shows signs of cold air moving in. And we're already in the mid-60s right now in Hatteras. Virginia Beach has a 63-degree dew point. I think we need a new category. I'll call it really dry. Really dry. Now, if you don't like my sense of humor, that's okay. But really, I mean, we're not going to see much in the way of dew points the next couple of days. My expectation will be lucky to hit 25 on Tuesday, and the 49 on Monday is really a descending number. But we'll try and bounce back up to 33 on Wednesday, 41. So really, when it's this dry, it's academic. Here we are, though, at 8:04. Current temperature in Hampton is 69. It's 66 in Virginia Beach. We have 66 in Ahoskie. The harbor of hospitality, Elizabeth City, has 67, and Poquoson is at 65 degrees right now. If you look around the region, it's only 43 in Knoxville. It's 66 in Virginia Beach. You can probably draw the line where you don't have to be a meteorology major to know where the cold front is, right? You're beginning to see some colder air to the west of this line, but we're going to continue to see our temperatures drop, and it should start to accelerate after 11 o'clock tonight. Look at these national temperatures. Des Moines is 25 right now. Hastings is 25, but it's actually Tallahassee's at 68. I suspect these numbers will come way down. Where it could vary, and San Francisco, 74. One of the warmer numbers, and in addition to Phoenix, of course, they're at 87. Vegas is at 77. So they're not going to feel the same kind of cold that we will. Now, as far as the temperature outlook for the middle of November, is this cold air going to linger? Probably not. Now, this is probably something that, to carry this story to the next page, warmer air is going to come back. It'll get back to semblance. It'll get back to some normalcy. But above normal temperatures will be more common in the Great Lakes and the Upper Plains states heading into the 17th and the 23rd. So that takes you a little bit closer to Thanksgiving. Not quite, but if you're planning Thanksgiving and you're going to be doing some driving, maybe you're doing some flying, but if you're doing some driving, warmer weather will likely prevail across much of the Ohio Valley, Tennessee Valley, and the Mississippi Valley. Now, temperatures tonight clearly are dipping down across a good part of the country, and it's going to have its impact here come tomorrow. But it'll really feel effects as we head into the 11th, and then eventually it shakes out. See, it's still blue across much of Canada, and the warmer air in Nebraska, Texas tries to work its way here in modified form, but it really has a hard time taking hold. So we'll call it near normal, maybe slightly above normal as we head toward the 19th of November. If you're on the call, this would be a good time to say hi. I got Erica Marie on here. Let me say hi to Erica. She's smiling. Hi, Erica. She's got the snowflake. Check. Snowman, not buying it, but okay. I like where the sentiment is, and I like the fact she's got a flake and a couple of thumbs up. You can always dream, right? If you're on Team Snow, you can always dream. But if you're on Team Spring today, you probably are used to say, hey, do you think it's going to be like this forever? You're going to be up to a rude awakening, unfortunately, heading into Veterans Day itself, really tomorrow night into Veterans Day. So our future temperatures are going to go up and down, and since you can see that from the temperature trend. I got 57. That should actually read 55, but it just depends on what if you put, let's split the difference. Let's say 61 at midnight. Let's say 55 at 8 o'clock, or maybe close to that at, say, 9 a.m. It's going to be one of those days, it's an upside-down day. Now, Tuesday, I think we'll make it to 47, but it'll take all day to get there. And then what we normally expect to get those highs in the afternoon, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I think will be on par. Now, let's talk about the Eastern Shore as I wrap things up. It is now 8:07. Expect temperatures daytime around 50 for Bloxham, over Nancock, and Cape Charles at 52. If you're in Kill Devil Hills, Manio, Nags Head, and even Duck, mid-50s seem reasonable to me. And if you get some showers overnight tonight, don't be surprised, but most of it should be out of here early tomorrow morning before 8 a.m. Now, as far as the severe weather, we did have a level 1 in Hampton Roads last night. If you watched forecaster Dara Getter last night, she mentioned it and said, hey, we had some maybe some stronger storms that came in at 2 or 3 in the morning. But you can see the only patch of green right now is Tampa, St. Pete, and Daytona Beach. They've even removed North Carolina and South Carolina because that was also green just a few hours ago. That's why I had my pause point here. It was all the way up to about Wilmington, and that was it. And really kind of separated where Surf City was under the advisory for level 1, and Morehead City was not. So that has all disappeared. A lot of the thunderstorms you see in Richmond are not expected to become severe. And the severe weather threat Monday is non-existent, so we're not worried about that, and we're not worried about Tuesday. Much of the country, at least the lower 48, looks like it's going to be free of thunderstorms of the stronger variety. Clearly, but here you can see there are signs of a strong storm, maybe closer to D.C. or Baltimore, headed in that direction. And we're going to go ahead and put this and clear this off the telestrator. Now, this will be your favorite map. If you've stayed here this long, I'm going to hopefully deliver what I'm hoping to give you, which is a visual. Right? You got storms tonight, 9 o'clock. They move away. Then you get some rain showing up in North Carolina. This is 11 o'clock tonight. We will be doing another newscast. We did one at 6:30 to 7 on WTKR, and we'll be doing it again tonight. We had only one NFL game tonight, so everything's on time. 60 minutes, everything's on time. But as far as Virginia Beach, 11 o'clock, then all of a sudden 3 a.m. comes. 3 a.m. Let me take this full screen. So this is what I'm talking about. We still have rain potential, but it may not come from the line of storms that's near Richmond right now. It could very well come up from the south. So if you're in the Albemarle, if you're in Virginia Beach, you're in Exmoor, Franklin, and you're asleep at 3 a.m., or maybe you work the third shift. I didn't know it was supposed to rain. It's going to rain tonight. I have us down for about at least a 40% chance of rain, but by the time you get out the door at 7 or 8, it's gone. By the time you get out the door at 6, 7, or 8, it's gone. There's some rain, but really by 9 o'clock, it's gone. And so at noon, now we're just waiting for the really cold air to come in. Ready? You want to see the really cold air? Sure you do. It's going to clear out nicely. Go into 4 o'clock. Let's set the stage here. Here's 10 o'clock. Oh, I love this. Love this. Right up here, up toward Richmond, 10 o'clock. That's when your window starts. It does. So we're going to go right to 11. Now what do you see? Does anybody see snow on this map? I do. I see it in kind of a bluish, white, purple. What do you want to call that? Purple color? This is probably a color many of you remember from last February, which was 9 months ago. There could be some mixing in pink, but there looks like some snow in Richmond as early as 11 o'clock. But you said till 5. That's right, till 5 a.m. That's when this window will likely close. So if you don't get snow here, there's midnight. Oh, but it doesn't snow in Norfolk, David. Aha, gotcha. I don't see it. Oh, is that Norfolk? Yeah. Dang it. He said it was going to snow and it did. 2 o'clock in the morning, right? I got in before the buzzer. So if this plays out, which I suspect it will, most of it will be in the 757, but some of you in North Carolina could get some snowflakes. But you got to be up at 2 in the morning. So I've already gotten, this is kind of like, when we say, hey, there's going to be, we had one a couple of days ago, a meteor shower. You got to get up in the pre-dawn hours to check out the shooting stars of the meteor shower. Most people never get out of bed, much less get out of the house to look get away from city lights, check out. Now, Kurt Williams did, to his credit, he's our news anchor. He did, and he saw some shooting stars. When I told him that this was going to happen at the same time the shooting stars typically occur at 2 in the morning, he said, I'll get up, or he'll stay up. Maybe you're of that same variety. Maybe you're of that same mindset, because this is the peak of the event. This is the crescendo. That's it. It doesn't look like February 19th to me. Does it look like February 19th to you? No. Not even close. Not even. That's all it. But if it snows, mixing with rain, you can see in the eastern shore there's some multicolors here. That would suggest there's probably some mixing. It's not going to stick. Maybe you get a lucky break where you get a few flakes collecting on a cold car rooftop or a grassy surface. But by the time you get out the door Tuesday morning, all this is gone before 5 in many cases. I mean, how much of that is in North Carolina? Let's be real. What, one area, 2 areas, maybe northern sections of Camden or Pasquotank, or it's just not a whole lot here. You might find a little bit in places. Maybe it does make it there to Elizabeth City, but most of it is just kind of nuisance. And if you sleep through it, you'll miss it. Hence the idea of it's like the tree that falls in the forest. It happened, but you fell asleep, didn't catch it, didn't happen, didn't affect me, I don't care. It's kind of like if I say, hey, did you hear about that weather in Montana? You go, I don't know anybody in Montana, I don't really care. And that's how some people will view this. It's not to say it didn't happen. 3 o'clock in the morning, guess what? By 4 a.m., it's gone. You said till 5. I figured that was a generous window to draw. It's still snowing at 4 around maybe Exmoor. Maybe it's still snowing in parts of the eastern shore. But then it's gone. There's 5. It's done. That's it. The rest of the day looks grand. Although, grand from the fact there's no snow. It's not grand because of the temperatures. The temperatures are still blustery, feeling like they're in the 20s. and so it goes. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. I'll wrap things up here at 8:13. If you have questions, let me know. I'll do my best to answer them. Tuesday morning at 10, nothing to see here. 4 p.m., it's fine. So the parades will be fine. Even some of the long-range models. This is the European. I was showing you the graph model. This shows the heavy snows already in the mountain state by midday tomorrow. It's going to be snowing hard in places like Charleston or Snowshoe or Greenbrier. I don't mean the neighborhood in Chesapeake, but the Greenbrier Hotel out here. So you're going to find maybe some snow around Portsmouth. You're going to find some snow in the Smoky Mountains at that point. And my East Tennessee neighbors know the horseshoe effect. They know it well. This is not their big snow type of storm system. But there's just enough to kind of slide it in here where some people are going to be surprised if they work the third shift or if they're just snow hungry and they just want to see a snowflake. Just show me some snow. I'd say get out there tomorrow night and into the wee hours of Veterans Day morning, because it's going to be gone long before 5 a.m. in most cases. Now that's 1 o'clock Tuesday afternoon. It just stays cold. So tomorrow morning we got some rain showers, mid-40s, mid-upper 40s, about 45 Franklin and Ahoskie, 52 Duck, 48 Cape Charles, 48 for Newport News and Matthews, 44, 50 in Hertford. We showed those lows at the top of the live stream. But tomorrow afternoon, yeah, I think that's pie in the sky. Most of us will be in the mid-50s. Again, these are daytime highs that are going to be stuck. They're going to flatline in the lower to mid-50s from 54 Elizabeth City, 55 Edenton, and 52 Gloucester. But when the almanac is reported, remember, they're going to have it down at 61 or so, because that's probably where we're going to be closer to midnight. Now here's your first warning, WTKR News 3 7-day forecast. It is Veterans Day on Tuesday, 47 the high, 33 the low. These are the lowest numbers, and they will have the corresponding wind chills. But I did describe it as pre-dawn melting snow. If that's too geeky, you tell me what you think it should say. But when it's not really happening during the day, and it's not really happening at 11 o'clock at night in most cases, it's going to happen more likely at 1 or 2 or 3 a.m., I just decided to put pre-dawn melted snow, and I left a little snowflake there. But even still, you're looking at a beautiful, mostly sunny day if you got a nice warm coat. Back up to 60 after a 36-degree start on Wednesday. I have mostly sunny 58 Thursday, 59 on Friday. Of course, forecaster Derek Getter was all over this last night. Tony Nargi this morning was also on top of this 100%. And I think we're on target with this forecast. As you can see, there will maybe be a few showers coming in with the next weather maker late on Sunday. I don't see it as a Sunday morning thing. I think it's more like an evening, Sunday evening, Monday next week situation for showers. But it's not terribly warm. It's still in the 50s, where 50s may become the new 70s, right? We were in the 70s for a while this weekend. Get used to the cooler weather, at least in the short term. Got a couple of happy shots, and I want to check in with you if you've got a comment. This is from Little Island Park from John. Thank you, John, for sharing this. It looks like a few clouds in the sky and that water moving. Newport News Park from Marvin Barnes. Thank you, Marvin. You can see some fall color in this image that was taken a few days ago. I would imagine some of these may have some age to them, but this one from Mike from First Landing State Park, capturing some beauty that we have in this part of the 757. Love this area, and of course, if you have been here before, you know what a gem it is. By the way, if you're on the call, I just want to say hi to you. I want to show you again that radar. This is where we are right now. Most of the storms are not in our quote-unquote TV audience. It's mainly up toward Richmond. Nothing severe there, but it is moving to the north and east. We'll be watching to see if something newly forms down here. And I think there's a little bit of activity beginning to show up at that point and in this time. Let me go back further south. Yep. So we got some wet weather. This is a severe storm, but this is not in our striking distance of us at this moment, but it is down toward Bladen and Columbus County in the Tar Heel State. That goes till 9. We'll see if some of that energy blows up around 2 or 3 in the morning, because it still has to travel all through the Kingston area and perhaps Fairfield Harbor before it gets up toward us. So we'll have to wait and see there. But again, there's your 7-day forecast, 55, 47, and 60. If you're on the call, Erica Marie was just saying, hey, glad to see her. She's back on it. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. I got a note from Tom Smith. Says, hello from in Virginia Beach. Let it snow. If it snows, you got to stay up late. And it's not late tonight. It's late tomorrow night. But we've covered all that. And we got Patricia and Erica and Wendy and David Marshall and Luke Alvarez. Let's see here. We'll see how it all plays out. But yeah, I'm very excited that we get changes. I'm of the mindset I don't like the same weather every day. I like to have some variety, mix it up, and then this is what this does, right? You had 76 today, it's 55 if you're lucky tomorrow during the day, and generally in the 50s heading into the latter part of the week. Just want to thank you for your time. We'll see you here soon. Just remember, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter if the weather is sunny or if it's serious. Just know that every day is a gift. Every day is a gift, so make the most of it in your neighborhood. We'll see you here tomorrow night. Take care.